Hey everyone, it's me, Alan Wellman. I'm so excited to give you this mini course on developing your clairs. So many people have asked me, how do I use my clairvoyance? How do I develop my clairaudience or my clairsentience? Well, this mini course is going to give you an introduction to each of those, as well as practical guides and tools that you can use to develop these clairs. So the clairs are going to be there to help your everyday awareness, as well as your psychic and mediumistic abilities. So I'm so excited that you signed up, and I can't wait to delve into this course with you. Hey everyone, Alan Wellman here, and I'm just so excited to talk about today's lesson on developing your clairs. So today, I want to discuss clairvoyance. Now, clair is taken from the French word, which means clear in English, and voyance means to see. So clairvoyance are seeing clear pictures, clear images that are in your mind. And the best part is, there isn't anything special we have to do in order to activate our clairvoyance. In fact, if we have an imagination, we already have a clairvoyant experience, meaning we can see things in our mind. So when we imagine things in our mind, when we can picture things in our mind, that means we already have our clairvoyance in gear. So for instance, if I were to say to you, can you picture someone or maybe a pet that you really, really love? Can you imagine them in your mind? Can you see what color their eyes or their hair is? Do they have facial hair? Can you imagine what they might wear? What's an average costume or outfit that they might wear? Is there something unique about them? So maybe someone has, maybe they have one eye, or maybe they have bright purple hair all the time, or maybe they have multiple piercings in their ears. But if you can imagine that person or pet in your mind, or even a place, can you imagine what your childhood home looked like? Even slightly recall what it may have seemed like as you walked in the door? If you can do that, that tells me that your clairvoyance is already working. And the best part about this is there's no mystery. There's no meditation for opening a third eye. There isn't anything you need to do, because that imagination is how we develop our clairvoyance. So a few exercises you can do are very, very practical. The first is to imagine someone that you love, just like we did. And furthermore, can you imagine them in their home, or in their office, or in their car, or in their city? Can you imagine or recall those details? The more we work on getting the details, the stronger our clairvoyance will be when it comes to offer a clairvoyant reading, for instance. Another exercise you can do is to go to a magazine, go to a sale paper, maybe go to your local grocery store. I know they send them in the mail to me once a week, and open it up and just look at the first page. And can you look at it and then turn it over? And then can you recall what you saw on it? The position? Can you tell me what colors you saw? Can you envision and recall maybe the price tag? Can you recall weight? Can you recall whether it's fruit or vegetable, or maybe some meat that's on the page? So the more we pay attention to the details in our everyday life, the more we will be able to recall things when we get the clairvoyant picture. Another exercise that is very, very practical is is when you are out for a walk or a drive, or maybe you go to a grocery store or a department store, can you lock in? It doesn't have to be every single scene, but can you lock in a very specific scene? Can you imagine your checkout clerk? Can you imagine what they're wearing? Can you imagine what their name badge says? Can you imagine how they have their hair? If you are going for a walk, can you imagine the trees and the brush and the shrubbery along the sidewalk? Maybe you're in the woods. Can you imagine how many steps it takes to go from your starting point to a destination? And then can you also recall what are the sounds or the shapes or the colors that you see? The sounds, not so much, because that's going to be more clairaudience, and we'll talk about that in another video. But the more we pay attention to the visuals in our everyday life, the stronger our psychic, mediumistic, spiritual clairs will be. A final exercise that you may want to think about is a comparison. Compare and contrast a couple of pictures. So a comparison for me, for instance, is I save lots of photos on my cell phone, and usually it's of the same thing. So if it's me or one of my dogs, or maybe a city scene that I just adore, I might have 10 pictures. And over those 10 pictures, what I would do is I compare what I'm wearing, what I am holding. Do I have anything in my hand? What colors do I see around me? Do I see? Am I wearing a suit jacket, or am I just wearing a shirt? Am I wearing glasses or no glasses? Am I wearing facial hair or no facial hair? Am I wearing? Well, I don't have any pictures with hair on top of my head, but you get the idea. And what I do is I go ahead and I compare, and I try to recall the comparison. Now, this is going to be helpful if you plan on being a demonstrator or if you plan to give readings. But as you speak what you are saying and what you are seeing, you actually give that image a chance to replay in your mind. So if I'm looking at a photograph of me and I start to describe, okay, I know I'm wearing a blue shirt, and in this shirt it's quite casual. I know it's got buttons on the middle. I know I have glasses in that picture. And I am also very much aware that I have a strap. It's a brown strap because it belongs to a bag, a shoulder bag that I have. The more I think about that, and the more I replay those details, and the more I give voice to those details, the more the image just comes back. Now, that's going to be very helpful if you are giving a reading, because if you're giving a reading to someone and you see a flash of something, you can then replay it in your mind and give it more life. So keep these exercises in mind and just develop them by paying attention to what you see, and try locking in as many of the details as possible. And now, if you wanted to use it in a more predictive manner, let's say you are planning to go to a restaurant. Can you see in your mind the outside of the building of the restaurant? Can you see the number of tables and chairs in that restaurant? Can you see your waiter or waitress or the bartender? Can you picture in your mind exactly where you're going to sit and what the menu looks like? So as a predictive manner, we can still use our clairvoyance by we know where we're going, we know what the room's going to look like, we know where we're going to sit, we know who's going to be serving us, and we are then we're using our clairvoyance for prediction. Another predictive use of our clairvoyance is, let's say you get home after work and you go to your mailbox, and before you open it up, you just imagine, okay, what mail is in there? Can you imagine the envelopes? Can you imagine, are there any logos on the return on the return placement, is there a stamp? If there's a stamp, is it a paper stamp or is it a digital stamp? Can you begin to imagine and then use your clairvoyance and begin to recognize, okay, is this a bill? If it's a bill, how much is the bill? Can you round it up or down? If you're not that experienced, get a ballpark figure. If you're not very experienced and you just say, oh, it's probably $110, when it might actually be $107.53. You're in the ballpark. That's a victory. So give yourself a chance to experiment and play, because these activities and exercises will strengthen your clairs so that when it's time to do a reading, you have those clairs. The more we develop the clairs in our physical senses, the more we are going to be able to recall those clairvoyant pictures and images that we receive in the psychic faculty or mediumship readings. I hope this is helpful. I can't wait to express the next segment, which is going to be discussing clairaudience. All right. Have fun with it, play with it, and I can't wait to hear about your progress. Bye, everyone.